Are you familiar with what Neville Goddard referred to as the Sabbath state? If not, I'm going to explain in this video what it is. And if you have and you don't really understand exactly what it is and what it feels like, I'm going to go through that as well. Hey legends, this is I Am Manifestation. I'm your conscious manifestation coach, Cerise, and I help you get out of your own life so you can manifest your version of an awesome fucking life. Before we get started on today's video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much appreciated. It just helps push my videos out to more people so I can help as many people as possible on a free platform, because it's your interactions with my videos and my channel that pleases the algorithm. What is the Sabbath state? So if you've followed me for any period of time, you've probably heard me refer to being in the state of already having the thing that you want. And that is essentially what the Sabbath state is. I don't parrot Neville because I understand what Neville's talking about. And the only people who are out there, parroting what he says without being able to explain it in a modern way in their own words, they don't understand. The Sabbath state is feeling as though you already have the thing. Now, I hear some of you saying, Cerise, if I've never had the thing before, we never to hold on to the thing before, how the fuck am I going to know what that feels like? I'm going to tell you, chill. Being in the state of already having the thing you want, or the Sabbath state, feels very cool, calm, collected. It feels very neutral. It feels like, and this is the example I've given in another video before, but not specifically talking about the Sabbath state. It feels like the novelty of getting the thing you want has worn off, and it's just part of your everyday now. It's part of the furniture, or if it's a person, like you're not checking your phone, wondering what they're up to, like hoping that they'll text you and things like that. So many of you are just focusing on manifesting a text message, thinking it's the first step in the logical path to your manifestation, when manifestation isn't logical. And you're absolutely not in the state of already having the thing you want, or in the Sabbath state if a text message still carries so much weight, right? Because if you were with someone, or if you had the thing that you wanted, trying to keep it general here, even though I know most of you are here for love, if you had the thing you wanted, you wouldn't be constantly checking to see or needing external validation to confirm for you that it's yours, that it's coming, or whatever. I may have mentioned this in a previous YouTube video before. I know I've definitely mentioned it in TikTok videos. So I live in Melbourne. I've been back living here for about 15 years now. I was born in Melbourne, but I'm a Kiwi. But over here in Melbourne, coffee's huge. I'm not a coffee drinker myself. And that's why I don't understand why this is the example that came to my head when I first was giving kind of an analogy to help people understand the feeling of already having the thing. But anyway, people here love their coffee, and people get really fucking excited about getting their own state-of-the-art cafe quality coffee machine. So, apply this to anything that is that exciting for you. When they buy it, they might make themselves a fancy coffee every morning, and they probably do every morning anyway, but the first week, maybe month, that they have their fancy cafe quality coffee machine, state of the art, takes up half their fucking kitchen. It's exciting, and they're playing around with foam art and all that shit. And then after a week, maybe a month, maybe even a couple of months, they get used to having a cafe quality state of the art coffee machine, and it's just part of their everyday. It's just part of the furniture now. It's not an exciting new thing. The novelty has worn off, but they still use it every day. They're still getting their fancy coffees, but fancy coffees made at home are the norm now. So that's how the Sabbath, or being in the state of already having the thing you want, feels. Now, as with everything to do with conscious manifestation, I don't want your motivation for doing the things that I suggest, which I'm about to give you some things now. Some of you already know what's coming. I don't want your motivation to be just to get the thing. I want your motivation to be feeling powerful, feeling like it's absolutely fucking normal to be able to live the life you want, your version of an awesome fucking life, to be worthy of, deserving of, and allowed to have anything you want. That feels normal. That's what your motivation should be, okay? Because once you get the thing that you want, you're going to want other things, right? And not only that, but getting into the state of already having the Sabbath state is about getting yourself to a place where when the thing that you want, thing, person, or situation that you want comes in, you don't have your fight or flight, anxiety, high alert senses going off, right? Which is what leads to self-sabotage. You want to be able to hold on to the thing you want. That's how I teach law of assumption. There's a lot of coaches out there that are out there teaching just to get the thing, because that's that looks good for them to be able to share a success story. But then we don't hear after that what happens with the thing personal situation that was manifested in. And a lot of them, as I've mentioned in other videos, are considering or sharing to essentially take advantage of people who are coming from a desperate place, for lack of a better word. I've been there, so I'm not saying that as an attack. Using things like text messages as a success story because they know that a lot of you out there are putting a lot of weight on things like text messages. So going into this, wanting to know your power, feel your power as like of God, being God of your experience, your reality, as that being a normal thing. Stop even putting manifestation on the pedestal. Your natural state of being is having everything you want. Your natural state of being is to be able to have everything you want. And it's the dam of disbelief and opposing thoughts that have been programmed from childhood, past hardships, heartbreaks, and traumas, as I always say, that has created that dam, stopping the flow, the natural flow, the inherent flow of your manifestations coming in. So, how do you, with that motivation, get into the Sabbath state, the state of already having the thing you want, in the most efficient, easiest, and most enjoyable way, right? We are not meant to feel shitty about everything. Things don't have to get to rock bottom before they get better. That makes as much sense as going to war for peace. It makes no fucking sense. My cheat codes are something that I developed when I hit a wall, following the advice of coaches that say just affirm and persist, just concentrate on the thoughts, don't worry about anything else. And then not doing them to intentionally get my manifestation, but doing them because I had no fucking choice, because I hit the wall. I was burnt out. I was unwell physically and mentally. I started doing these things just for me. And then I started to see movement again after a long period of stagnancy. It started to feel easier. It was more fun. It was less anxiety ridden. And I've been in a very cool, calm, collected state for a long time where I'm very rarely even remotely rattled. And if I am, it's easy to come back to base, to that cool, calm, collected neutral. And unlike those coaches, my success stories are lasting success stories. Okay. I had one of the success stories that I shared on this channel, the person who sent that in, jump on a live stream that I was doing on TikTok the other day, linked below if you are interested in joining my weekly live streams, who said, yep, still together, still going strong. Of course, you know, I'm going to talk about my cheat codes, right? And those are nervous system regulation, super important. I say that often now before I even say self-concept, because it helps buy into the new story that you're telling about yourself. Self-concept work is the second one. Not just a bunch of I am affirmations, but treating yourself how you want others to treat you, and feel good things, doing more things that you enjoy that are unrelated to your manifestation. A lot of you had hobbies and things that you loved doing before you came across the thing personal situation that you wanted to manifest. And then that thing personal situation became your sole focus. And you let all the things that you, other things that you enjoyed in your life fall away. That's why self-concept work is about remembering who the fuck you are. You've just forgotten who the fuck you inherently are. And it's about rediscovering all the things that you used to enjoy that you stopped enjoying, stopped doing to be able to enjoy, and doing those things again and continuing to do those things even when your manifestation does come in. So that you're not putting all the pressure on your manifestation to be the sole source of your happiness in your life. Because when you do that, the slightest little thing that seems to be going wrong in the physical world, it often isn't unless you assume that it is, because sometimes the most efficient route requires, like the most efficient route, the fastest way to get somewhere is sometimes to shake shit up. Don't assume the worst. So when the slightest little thing seems to be going wrong, you self-sabotage. You fall off track with your thoughts. My cheat codes help with a multitude of things to do with making the conscious manifestation process easier. It's like every day when every time I'm doing a live stream or answering someone's questions or talking to a client, that something will come up in the conversation where I'm like, oh, that's yet another fucking thing that my cheat codes address. And again, as I always say, just because it sounds like you're adding more things to your practice, they actually make your practice way less labor intensive, particularly the thoughts piece, because even though it's the thoughts that anchor you to your end goal and steer the ship, that's only because a lot of you are coming from a very anxious place where most of what you're seeing, thinking, saying to yourself, saying to others is coming from a place of anxiety that's stuck on a loop because you processed something through here. That's the seed. And then you stored it here. Your body stores memories as feelings. So when you address this, instead of waiting for this to rewire itself and then to rewire this, which won't happen if you get burnt out or unwell physically or mentally first, do them both simultaneously. Every single follower or client that has fought me on this idea, because they've come from other law of assumption teachers, coaches. I say that because, again, a lot of them are just parroting what they hear other people say. They're coming from those people who stress so much just to worry about the thoughts, just to firm and persist. When they follow my advice, they see movement. When they follow my advice, they feel at peace with the idea of already having what they want. When they follow my advice, they become more confident and comfortable in their own skin and in who they are as a person, who they truly are, not the mask that they've been wearing because of all the shit they've been through in the past that they don't even know they're putting on to protect themselves from feeling those hurts again. And that's all happening on a subconscious level. And again, because memories are stored in your body as a reflex before your conscious mind even knows what the fuck's going on. I wish someone was teaching my cheat codes when like up until last year. That's when I started talking about them, because that's when I had been implementing them for a few months and started seeing an influx of things going in the right direction for me and me feeling good about it and being like, oh, so I don't just have to affirm and persist through anxiety and sadness and triggers. I don't have to be somewhere that seems like the logical link to my manifestation, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it feels shitty, even though I'm so anxious, even though I walk off stifling my tears because I've seen or heard something that doesn't feel good. Speaking of cheat codes, if you want a 50% off code when my Solid Self-Concept course is released, there is a no obligation to buy Solid Self-Concept waitlist in the description below. Only those on the waitlist will get a 50% off code when it's released. It's a no-brainer, really. Even if you don't think that's something you'd be interested in, you may be by the time it's released. And if you have to pay full price for it, you're going to be fucking kicking yourself. The last thing that I want to say about the Sabbath state is if you're constantly checking to see if you're in the Sabbath state, you're not in the Sabbath state, okay? So that's why your motivation needs to be not to get the thing, it's to remember who the fuck you inherently are. And when you come at it from that perspective, which is why self-concept is, obviously I talk about self-concept as treating yourself the way you want to be treated, but also self-concept is choosing to focus on you because you're worth focusing on. Remember, self-concept is treating yourself how you want others to treat you. If you can't commit any time to working on you, who the fuck do you think is going to commit to you? Again, if you haven't already liked, shared, commented, and subscribed, your interactions with my videos are much appreciated. Thank you so much for being here. You're a fucking legend. Don't you ever forget it. And until the next time, have a good one. Solid Self-Concept waitlist.